in my entire life, have never, ever hit a home run. Even when I was 10, 12, 13 years old.
Neither have I.
Never hit a home run. I didn't think I swung too hard. I just met the ball. I didn't even feel it hit the bat. No tingling of the hands, no nothing. And I'm running down the first baseline, and I finally, slide the ball. I said, well, damn.
It's
Look
going.
at this thing.
It's going.
Can you dig
It's
it?
going.
I round first base sort of, and it's like over
So
and
good.
gone, and the place goes crazy.
Started as a kid with a team to believe in. Every win and loss left my heart still beating. Year after year through the rain and the sun, learning that faith is what makes us strong.
The kick is up, and the kick is good afternoon, and welcome back to the Superfan Diaries. I'm your host, J.R. Green, recording from our studios on Broadway in downtown Nash, Vegas, bringing you the biggest sports, the biggest moments, and the biggest fans, celebrating passionate sports figures and their unique stories. Yes, legends. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share your own game day traditions or stories online. Today, we've got a guest who doesn't just understand greatness, he helped create it. I'm J.R. Green, and today we're stepping into the world of a man who has written the soundtrack to millions of lives. And now we're about to find out what soundtrack plays when his team takes the floor. We're talking Memphis Grizzlies basketball grind. Grit, heart, and a fan perspective shaped by decades of creating magic in studios and now living it in arenas. The man has worked with legends, wrote #1 hits with the Judds, including Why Not Me? I know I didn't sing that very well. I just keep going. Yes, thank you. Tanya Tucker engineered Elvis Presley's last #1 song, Way Down, built his entire huge hits, earned 7 Grammys, but today he's just like the rest of us, living and dying with every possession. So we're diving into fandom, creativity, pressure, performance, Desert Fan Island, and of course, we're finishing with the buzzer beater. Ladies and gentlemen, a legend in music and a man with a fan's heart, Brent Maher! Welcome to the show, Brent.
Oh, man, thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, I had to step it up. We don't get a guest this often that's, such a huge Grammy Award-winning person. We have all these athletes, and we have other individuals, but to be able to get the perspective of someone like you is, it's amazing. So let's just go right back to the beginning. Who first put sports in your life? Family, friends, something you discovered on your own?
Oh, you know what? I think it's just, growing up in the middle of Kansas, I was raised in this little tiny town, about 800 people, Chase, Kansas, by the way. Yep. And so what do? There was no golf course. There was no tennis courts, but you could play baseball anywhere. So, yep. I played baseball and basketball.
You became a ball player.
Absolutely. And, a pretty spanking good second baseman, I don't mind saying.
That's good. That's a hard base. That's a hard position.
Yeah. But anyway, I've loved sports. I love the friendly competition. I don't mind if it gets a little bit pushy once in a while, No blood, anything like that.
Yes, sir.
But, and you'd be surprised. A lot of my, cohorts, fancy themselves as pretty good hoopsters too.
Wow.
Like Kyle Lenning.
Yep.
His parents actually put together a sizzle reel when he was in high school of all of his cool shots,
Yep.
But Kyle and I have worked together on some projects, and we'd take breaks. And in Berry Hill, there was a outdoor basketball court.
Yes.
Right there, literally not 25 yards from the studio. And so we would take breaks all the time, go down there and play one-on-one or just play horse 21 or something like that.
Yes.
And then you'll love this one. I engineered the very first album that Olivia Newton-John recorded in the United States.
Oh, wow.
And this was when she was at her absolute peak, right?
Yep.
And basketball is not that big of a thing. It wasn't then. It is now. But in Australia,
right.
It wasn't
it's a
that
big deal now. It's a big deal. They got pro teams and everything going.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, her producer, John Farrar, and I, they had never even touched a basketball. And so I took it upon myself. Said, well, we got to fix that.
Yep. And
so I took Livy and John down there and showed them how to hold the ball properly. Anyway, we had so much fun, and oh my gosh, a lot of the other singers and songwriters, and they like sports.
Well, I know we're going to be talking about some other amazing stories you're going to share with everyone today, but we got to jump right back into the sports world and super fandom of the Grizzlies.
Oh,
I've heard
Grizzlies.
This is your team. You love them. I've just got to know, what was the moment that hooked you emotionally to the Grizzlies?
Well, I guess it's just because it's in this beautiful state, you know. And when I really got into them, you know, that's when Jay Will was there.
Yes.
And Paul Gasol was there. Oh my gosh, some of the other players. He's on ESPN all the time now. He's a, you know.
Well, Jay Moran, I know's the big guy now. But
yeah, John Morant. Of course, that's slightly controversial, you might say.
I know.
You know, and but anyway, I got hooked back in those days,
Okay.
and the funny story about that, they were playing the Lakers, and of course, one of my good friends, Gary Bells, his family owns the Peabody.
Okay.
Right, and so anytime
With
we
the
go
ducks,
down
by the
there-
way, everyone listening, they have ducks that will walk straight up to the door.
Absolutely.
And go upstairs. It's amazing what these ducks could do.
Absolutely. And they have a duckster dude
Yes.
that walks them down, you know, with a big red coat on and everything. Anyway, so we were staying at the Peabody, my son and I.
Yes.
And we checked in, and I like to get to the games early. I mean, I want to see everything. I want to see them warm up. I will wait to see the warm-ups, right?
By the way, this is a 3-hour drive from Nashville. So how many home games are you attending a year?
Well, we try to get down there like 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
You know.
Because that's a good 3-hour drive.
Yeah,
All
it is.
But take us through. You're getting ready to take us through the day of like what a perfect day is for you and your family. Take us through it.
Well, you know, a day with the Grizzlies, you mean,
Yeah,
or what?
like you take that 3-hour drive.
Yeah, that was it. Then we checked in, and
At the Peabody, which is close to Rendezvous.
Correct. And we made use of that. Yeah. So anyway, we get up there, and Brian and I mean, we were at the elevator on like the 3rd or 4th floor, and ready to head down, and we hear this voice say, "Can you hold it, please?" Hey. And so up shows Shaq.
Oh man.
And his
wow.
his sort of bodyguard, man keeper, you know,
Yes.
with him, who wasn't as big as Shaq,
No, there's no way he's as big as
but
Shaq.
he was as broad
Yeah.
as Shaq.
Yes.
And so we get up there, and I mean, we're just standing there waiting for the elevator to show up.
Hanging out with
And
Shaq.
yeah, but so what do you say? I mean, I didn't know what to say.
You could say, "Hey, I'm a superstar songwriter. Let's
Well,
do a duet
no,
together."
I don't know what something stupid like, "Yeah, you think you're going to win tonight, Shaq?" You know? And he says, "Well, I hope so," something like that. Well, so anyway, the door opens up, and there's this voice that yells out, "Hold it, hold it, hold it." It was Kobe Bryant.
I knew you were going to say that. Like I felt that this was going to be a Kobe Bryant moment.
Absolute truth. And so now Kobe, who was probably what, maybe 19 or 20 at that time,
just
probably,
a baby,
and rushes up there and looks, "Hey guys, how you doing?" And I thought my son was just going to faint. And then they get on the elevator, and then, you know, it's full enough, right? And so Shaq's man says, "Hey, do you guys mind catching another elevator?" And we said, No, we'll wait, you know. Well, then the equipment manager comes up, and he's going to take the elevator with us, the other elevator. So it comes up, and he's got this big bag, and there is a shoe in there, sticking half the way out.
What size was it?
I mean, it was
big
like
30,
It was
30
like,
incher.
It was 20-something.
Wow.
And so anyway, I said, "Is that Shaq's shoe?" And he says, "Yeah, man." I said, "Would you mind taking that out?" He said, "Well, I'll take it out." So he takes the shoe out, and I hold it up against my son's shoulders,
Oh wow.
and it went from shoulder to shoulder.
That's just incredible.
Yeah, and
That's a beast.
Brian, I think, was like maybe 16 at the time, so he wasn't like a little baby.
Right.
Right. So anyway, that was fun, and
Oh, by the way, for the record, just for everybody listening, Brian, his son, has actually written 3 songs with Taylor Swift. So for all the huge fans out there, Taylor Swift, that are listening, this individual got to hang out with Shaq, Kobe, and then later wrote some songs with Taylor Swift. I think that's a trifecta.
yeah,
of
actually,
perfection.
he wrote one song with Taylor.
Oh, one, okay.
On the first
Just
album.
one. Just got to write one song with Taylor
Yeah,
Swift.
but he's had 4 number ones.
Okay.
With other artists.
It's
you
just
know.
amazing. It's hereditary. It's hereditary. I tell you, so many things in life, they even say on the mental health side that it's hereditary, and I believe it. I mean, by the way, I wonder the same thing. In music writing, you obviously hugely successful, wrote so many number 1 hits. Your son does it. Do you think that crossover is realistic in athletics as well?
Oh, I think so. You know, oh my gosh.
I know Ken Griffey. Everybody says Ken Griffey.
You see it a lot in football, it seems like.
Yep.
You see a lot of guys that follow their dad's steps in football. I think, I don't know. I've never really thought about it till you just brought up. Some in basketball.
Yep.
You know,
it's hard. You know, that's the reason I'm asking is
it's so
because
hard.
the passion it took for you to write #1 hits and then for your son to write #1 hits. You know, I've had this, I don't know if it's a hypothesis or not, but like, you know, we get to play golf with individuals that, my son's a golfer, and he gets to actually play golf with a superstar son. And so then the question I've always had is this superstar son going to be able to rise? It's like the Tiger Woods story.
Yeah.
You know, Tiger Woods is here. His son is going to go here. The level of attention and everything being on you, just like LeBron's son. I mean, think about what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The pressure is so great, and is the passion that you had, or these other individuals that have achieved greatness, are the children able to have that same hunger? Because it takes drive. It takes hunger to make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, a friend of mine, in fact, he's the artist that had my first #1 record on as a producer is Michael Johnson.
Okay.
And that song was Bluer Than Blue, Sadder Than Sad, right? And Michael...
You're the best singer to ever be on our show, just so you know. By far, you've won.
So anyway, yeah, we'll stop it right there. Anyway, I was with Michael, and he was a stunning guitar player. And so for his whole life could go out just as a one-man show. You know. Wow. So anyway, I was with him at one show. There was a line of people wanting to talk to him. This one guy comes up and says, "You know, man," he said, "you know, I'm actually an accountant and I have a firm actually, but man, I've always wanted to perform. I've always wanted to like get out there and just sing because I just love it so much. And so what do you think?" And Michael says, "Don't chase it." He said, "Oh," and he said, "No, it's kind of best just to stay where you're at. And play music when you can and love it."
But he knew.
But he was very
it.
nice. Well, then he, so anyway, the crowd's all gone, and I looked at Michael and I said, "Well, Michael, that was kind of
Cold.
rough on the guy, kind of cold." He said, "Brent, it's the truth." He said, "The only way you can survive this business and be successful in this business, if it's the only thing you can do."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought about that. And
it's the only thing you can do.
You can do.
That's a huge
Not
phrase
that
just
you
said.
want to do.
Right.
It's you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. And I have, that's really resonated with me over the years.
Did you feel that way? You're an Air Force veteran, by the way. Thank you very much for your service, Brent.
Well, thank you. It was 4 years that I loved and struggled. Well, no, I didn't struggle with it. Actually, I'm very proud of that. It really helped me grow up.
Yep. My father was in the Air Force too, so big admiration.
Yeah, thank you. But Michael, anyway, I'm not a performing artist, but sometimes on panels somebody will ask me a similar type question.
Yes.
Like the questions I will get asked is somebody would say, this one guy used to wear me out well, I won't tell about it. I've got to figure out how to frame this. Anyway.
I love how we keep certain names out of the interview.
He had a girlfriend that she desperately wanted to be a recording artist.
Yep.
He didn't think she had the talent, apparently. And so he would give me a tape like once or twice a year. And he ran a theater.
Okay.
And so when my wife and I would go to a theater, I'd say, "Oh God, I'm going to get another tape." Sure enough, I'd have a little cassette or something. But anyway, he'd say, "Hey, I just want you to, like listen to this, and my girlfriend's name is this, and here's the number, and call her and just tell her the truth, Brent. Just tell her the truth. And tell her that she's not that good." And I'm serious. And so I just finally, after about the third time, I said, "I'm never going to say that. You can quit giving me tapes because let me tell you, I just have an opinion.
Right.
It's an opinion. And I can tell you right now, there have been songs and artists that have had #1 records for like 10 weeks in a row, but I scratch my head and say, I don't get it.
How did it happen? How did it happen?
How did it happen?
Yep.
I don't care for their voice. I think the song is like, so what? And
they've hit #1.
And it's #1, and millions of people love them.
Oh, I know. We've heard these songs before, and they're kind of like just out of nowhere.
Yeah, and so I'm going to be the guy that crushes this girl's dream. And I just told him, I said, so just, let the path of life guide her wherever it's going to guide her.
Well, The one thing, Brenton, we didn't get to talk about this before, but I have a small story I'll get to share with you and the listeners that I don't think I've ever done before. But a long time ago, my uncles are the Bailey brothers, and they became famous in bluegrass because they founded Dolly Parton. Yeah. So I started trying to become a singer, Brett, so I could respect Michael Johnson because I wrote a letter. And my uncles got in touch with Dolly, and I sent Dolly all these little singles I was doing. I was called the Country Brothers, the Maryville Brothers, you name it. I was trying with a cowboy hat, singing while I was living in Los Angeles. And for everybody out there that knows me, they remember this time. I sent all this to Dolly. Dolly Parton then wrote me back the most beautiful letter you've ever seen telling me, don't become a singer. Keep being a toilet paper salesman. And at the time I was with Procter & Gamble, I was a large toilet paper salesman, but the path of life, worked out. But her letter, I've got it framed. I'm gonna have to share it with you because it was just so humbling of how she said, I love it. I love your passion. Just like what Michael Johnson told that individual. Yeah. You need to enjoy it. You need to love it, but in a really nice way, only the way Dolly Parton could. Don't quit your day job. So, so when I think about what you say, I could relate to it. But I've got to jump back to what you just experienced. And you said you have to, meaning you have to be able to do that. So what I want to ask is kind of pivot back to the arena, the Grizzlies arena. Yeah. You're sitting there, you're watching the team, the passion, the game, the sneakers, everything that you love. How do you compare for everybody listening right now? Being an author of #1 hits, watching an artist on stage in front of 20,000 people, singing, pulling that audience, and the equivalent now of watching the Grizzlies play, what are the similarities? What are the differences?
Well, the difference is, and I've thought about this a bit.
Yeah.
When you're a performer, everybody wants to love you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
When you're a performer in front of 20,000 people, nobody came there to hope that you fall on your face.
Oh, no. In basketball, they do.
That's the difference.
That's okay. Yeah.
You see,
great point.
That's the difference.
You just answered my question.
So you're 6'6", 220, a 43-inch jump. Well, the guy guard you was 6'7", with a 45 or whatever it is more, and is doing his best to show you up.
Yeah.
So he's going to be bumping you, yanking at your shirt, give you a hard foul when he can get away with it. You don't have that on stage.
No.
You've got people waiting there, and just everything that rolls off your tongue is like honey. Now that's the difference, right?
No, there's no question.
Yeah, that's the
huge
difference. And but the similarities is when you walk on that stage, and you hear 20,000 people roar and cheer for you, that's probably the same buzz as when you're a known star in the NBA and you come out and people love you.
Throw the baby powder up.
Oh, yeah, throw the baby powder up. Make that game-winning shot. Yep. So they're both entertainers.
Yes.
Like every basketball player will tell you, well, sure, this is entertainment. Hey, if it wasn't fun to watch, they wouldn't be making money doing it.
No. And by the way, that's why the money is going up. So if you think about right now, athletes, I had an interview yesterday, the amount of money these children, 16 years of age, are making real money now because of NIL and other pieces. The biggest thing I've now noticed in sports is, when you played baseball back in the day, I don't think these players made this kind of money, not even close.
Oh, I'll tell you a funny story. And Mike wouldn't care. Mike Reed.
Okay.
Stunning songwriter.
Yes.
Actually had #1 record as an artist, Walking on Faith, right?
Yes.
But he wrote songs like I Can't Make You Love Me.
I can't make you love me.
All kinds of hits. He's been ASCAP Writer of the Year. Well, his previous life was a professional football player. He won the Outland Trophy at Penn State as the best defensive lineman that year.
Wow.
And was drafted by the Bengals.
Yep.
Now, this is back in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
And so athletes being represented by agents wasn't nearly what it is today. Right. In fact, they hardly existed. Mike didn't have an agent.
Wow.
Mike's meeting when he was drafted by the Bengals was with Paul Brown. Paul Brown was about maybe, I think, 5'6", 5'7". He's a little guy.
Yeah.
Mike, 6'5", playing weight, probably 270, 265, something like that back then.
Yep.
And he says, I've never been intimidated in my life with anybody more than Mr. Brown. Now, he says to Mike,
Yeah.
congratulations, you're a bingo. And here's your signing bonus.
Tell us.
Gives him a check. $20,000.
That's amazing.
20. And so Mike says, so I rush home and I tell Susie,
Yeah.
they just got married, Susie,
I just paid 20 grand.
baby, we're rich.
We're rich.
We're rich. We've got it made forever. You know, and of course he's an all-pro.
Yeah.
2 years as an all-pro. And can you imagine the difference of money? I mean, his signing bonus nowadays would be what? I mean, what would it be? You know,
20 million?
First round pick?
Yeah, a couple more zeros.
Oh, God. I mean, it's just, I mean, and to me, and I've never asked Mike this. Mike has some funny stories.
Yeah.
You should get him on here. He's got some funny stories.
Yes.
But he's never once said, you know, it just irks the hell out of me that, you know, these guys are making, you know.
Because he played
X
for the
amount of
game at the
dollars.
time. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
he was there with the
Yeah.
passion to play.
Yeah. And money, and, you know, there again, gasoline was like 23 cents a gallon or 35
20
cents.
grand
So, you
was
know.
big back then.
Yeah, it is. But it's still, that math doesn't work out, though.
Well-
they're still getting paid 100 times more.
Well, what year was that? 1970s?
Oh, I don't know. No, it was a little after that. I'm guessing
20 grand.
75, 76.
So during the
something like
break,
that.
we're going to actually do the math, and we're going
Oh,
to come
God.
back to kind of take that forward to see what would $20,000 back in 75 be today. That's the end of the first quarter. Grab something cold, maybe get ready to listen to some classic Judd hits, and stay with us. We'll be right back.
Started as a kid with a team to believe in. Every win and loss left my heart still beating.
Welcome back to the Superfan Diaries. We're here with the amazing Brent Maher, and we're talking Grizzlies basketball and the deeper side of fandom. And right before break, we gave you all a little homework for anybody, hopefully not driving, texting. We wanted to take $20,000, which was Mike Reed's salary for the Bengals as an all-pro signing bonus in 1975, to determine what is the equivalent for an NFL player today. Well, folks, $20,000 in 1975 is worth $125,000 today. So let's just step into that right now and think through Mike Reed if he went to the Bengals. I don't think there's any participant at the Bengals stadium, including janitorial services, that makes $125,000 a year.
No, I guess not.
No.
But
No.
you know what? But the last person that would be drafted in round 7,
Yeah.
wouldn't their salary be like about 300 grand or something like that?
Yeah, I think the minimum is close to 350. I know that Vanderbilt had the quarterback that didn't get
Yeah,
drafted.
Pavia.
I mean, Pavia is probably he might be getting a salary of I bet it's still 150 to 200 on the practice squad of I think he went to Baltimore.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, just yesterday.
Yep. So I think, that'd be interesting to see. But just think about that. A practice squad versus an all-pro is it's massive. But it gets back to the fact that people want media, Brent, and I think that's where your industry and the sports industry are two that I think are very powerful, especially with AI. Now, I understand you can make music with AI. You can do a lot of things. Sports, you can't, not yet. We don't have the mobile people running around,
Right.
like robots. But I do think there's that power that people with social media of instantaneous needs, the excitement to be able to watch it, that I think music and these other entertainment pieces only become more powerful to where they may get paid even more money.
Well, it is. If you have the AI thing, I don't want to go down that road. Because not that I don't appreciate AI
Yep.
for the obvious things.
Right.
Medical research, all that kind of stuff. Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely.
But the way that it can be abused,
Right.
in the world of creativity,
Oh, gosh, yeah.
is frightening. And so that's why we don't need to talk about it too much. So AI, as far as a creative tool, as long as it's not a crutch,
Right.
when AI becomes a crutch, then there's your trouble.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Because the authenticity becomes questioned.
Well,
know.
you don't get stories like this, and I want to read it correctly. But learning about some of your amazing work, and this is a pretty cool one. I did love that you were the one with the writing group who tied a rag around the strings of a guitar to make a thumping sound. Talk about that authenticity on the backbeat of the Judds hit song, Why Not Me? So any chance you're bringing a rag tied around your wrist to help you cheer on the Grizzlies? What kind of rituals are you doing when you go to your Grizzlies games?
No, that doesn't go together. But yeah, the backbeat. There's drums on the record, of course.
Right.
And on the verses, Eddie Bears, who played on all the Judd records, is playing just a cross stick, just a wood across the rim of the snare drum. But on the demo, when we were doing the demo of that, I was playing guitar, Don Potter was playing guitar, I think Y was even playing guitar, and Naomi and Y singing, and the tempo just kept creeping up. And I said, I don't need to play guitar on this. And so I just flipped the guitar over and started hitting the backbeat, just thump, thump.
On the back of the guitar.
On the back of a guitar, yeah. Yep. And so that we sort of like settled the groove down and just stayed there. But then when I did a rough mix on just the demo, I said, that's an inch away of being really a hip sound. So then I compressed it a bunch.
But you knew that in your heart. You knew that would be a hip sound.
No. Oh. I knew it.
Thanks for the transparency, Brent.
I knew it once I heard it, but I didn't know going in. You follow me?
Yes, sir.
And so anyway, I slapped that thing and put a bunch of reverb on it and compressed the heck out of it, and it became something.
Oh, yeah, it did.
And I didn't realize how much it became until we tried to record it with a full band. And Eddie is just playing, I'm playing a cross stick here on the verses, and when we go with the choruses, why not me? You just open up, play a stick on a full snare. That's pretty standard stuff.
Yep.
And man, the vibe was just like on a scale of 10 to 2, you know? And I kept thinking, what is missing? I mean, what's missing here? And I said, don't tell me. So I picked up my little guitar.
Yeah.
And I gave it to the piano player, Bobby Ogden.
Yep.
And I said, Bobby, forget playing piano on this. We don't need piano. And he said, well, I'll come in and control him. He says, no, I want you to sit there. I want you to take this guitar and just slap it on the back of the guitar, just a backbeat, thump, thump. I've got the strings all deadened up on the neck, so just thump it. And he said, where do you want me to play this, Brent? And I said, on every backbeat, everywhere. And he goes, okay. And so
it creates magic. And for you all listening right now, go back and listen to the song, Why Not Me? And you're going to hear exactly what the creator here is telling you of why that song just sticks to you.
Oh, it does. That had a big part of it. And we didn't get 4 bars in. And the whole vibe of the room and everything just exploded. And I think we took one take and that was it.
So right now, with what you just said, the whole vibe, the whole room exploded.
Yeah.
Let's take that back to the Grizzlies. When you feel, I know, this is a pivot. I'm pivoting right back here because what you just mentioned is talking about creating a top number one of the greatest country songs ever made, championship basketball teams. So that vibe of what you just said happened to the team, the coaching, the producers, the writing. First off, do the Grizzlies need to hire you to write plays for them?
No, but the Grizzlies could use some advice on some of their player personnel decisions.
Yes, because you want that vibe. What you just described in this room, I felt it about what you felt when you built that song.
Yeah.
I feel like championship teams have to have the right players, but what are the things that will give you that same feeling as a player on the Grizzlies?
Oh my gosh, I don't.
Deep question, I know. Deep question.
That's a deep question, and I'd have to say I'm deeply unqualified to play general manager here, But I'm sure that who's ever making those calls, the good ones,
right?
The good GMs, the good player personnel folks, in any sport, man, you got to be thinking 2 and 3 years down the line.
Yep.
But you have to win now.
Right.
Because the whole rebuild thing, and we're seeing that with the Titans.
Yes.
The Titans.
Brutal. It's brutal.
It's been brutal. And if you don't make those decisions, and you in one particular year, you make a bunch of stupid ones, it can take years and years to get that ship back, the way it should be. And I think as far as the Grizzlies are concerned, boy, did I scratch my head. when they got rid of Bane.
Oh, that's one of my
You know?
points of view here.
Oh, I'm telling you, my wife has such a crush on Bane.
Oh.
You know, and then who's the other? You know, the All-Pro that went to the Jazz.
I remember the name.
You know, well, anyway, we know who he is.
Yes.
You know, it's like, and Kennard, Cool Hand Luke.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, now Kennard is.
All-star. He had all-stars. He had some all-stars.
He's starting with the Lakers.
Yep.
You know, now he's starting because of some injuries.
Right.
But when the Lakers didn't have the injuries, he was like 6 man off the bench and is like the leading percentage 3-point shooter, for God's sakes. So these are 3 guys that you get rid of. And, you know, the jury is so out on John Morant.
Right.
You know, I mean.
I know.
And as gifted as he is, you know, the jury's out. And we won't know till next year. I'll tell you what. Okay, hot, big flash here, news flash.
Big it. Throw it.
No, I think when we see the NBA draft,
Yeah.
John Morant's future will be sort of,
Determined.
we'll have an idea what that is. Because if they go out and draft a point guard, like a really hot point guard,
Yep.
then that's pretty much going to say that they've got other plans for Morant, you know, because he's not going to sit there on the bench and see some new guy come in and take that job.
Well, in what you just raised right there with, and I know we keep going back and forth between the two industries because I do think there's a lot of similarities. But like when you think about what Morant's going through, what he's been doing, and then if you throw that right now into the performance world of any genre, not just country music, rock, heavy metal, the same type of piece has to be that a great team has to come together to be able to make a top hit. And are there any singers out there right now for people listening that are like Jay Morant? That you know of? Anybody that pops in your mind of like, that is the similarity to my superstar on the Grizzlies?
You know what?
Any genre, Brent. We don't have to be
you.
country music. Any genre.
Let me tell you. Oh, my gosh.
I should be following my notes, but I'm not. I'm having too much fun talking about all this.
There's a few athletes, I think more in line of maybe football, maybe some basketball players too, that you knew had all the goods. You knew they had the gift, they had the size, they had everything going for them, but they knew it. They knew it too well.
That's a great point.
And sometimes when you are that gifted and that talented, you just think everything should be given to you, and you are not going to maybe put the work in you maybe could. You know, it's like there's a couple of guys in the NBA, and I can't remember the other, but one of the sports shows, First Take or something like that.
Yeah.
And one of the things they said about Jaw, and believe me, I'm not knocking Jaw. I mean, I would love for him to come back.
No, everybody would.
And
The whole
be
state of
kid.
Tennessee does.
Absolutely. But they said the darndest thing. Oh, I know who the other guy was. It was John Morant, and it was the guy that plays in New Orleans, their big star gets injured all the time.
Yeah,
The
Williams. No, it's Williams, right. I got it right.
You know
Williams.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They said, you know, for whatever reasons, they aren't any better now than when they first came into the league.
That's a great point.
And I thought about that, and I said, God, Zion. Yeah,
that's
Zion.
what I mean from Duke. But I
Yeah.
mean, like, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City came in, and they've won a national title or a
Yeah.
global title.
Yeah.
That's the difference. A new league team,
That's true.
they did it,
Yeah.
and these others haven't. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a...
So that's kind of the thing, you know. And I thought about that, and I said, well, you know what? If you had to be critical of somebody, you just might forget all about the off the court stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, but man, you haven't ascended your game.
Right.
And so, you know, are there singers like that? Yeah, I won't mention names.
No, don't mention names.
But there have been some artists,
That
and
knew
some
they
of
were
them,
good.
some that I've actually worked with,
Yep.
that had everything going to literally be a star, but they just
Couldn't get out of their own
well,
way.
they couldn't get out of their, and wouldn't make the sacrifices. You know, just didn't think that they needed to do some of the things that everybody has to do that you may not want to do.
Well, it goes back to my favorite quote of this interview today. You have to.
Yeah.
And when you have to, you're going to find a way to overcome even that, call it, spark of egotisticalness. Now, all right, we got to switch now because everybody wants to hear about Desert Fan Island. Here's how it works. Pretend, that's right now, I know you're smiling. Pretend FedEx right now, Forum, is now placed on Mud Island by itself. Hardwood floors, everything. It's just you. You're by yourself in the arena. Squeakiness, everything is just here with a giant Jumbotron. You get to have one movie, and you're trapped there for a year. You get one movie you got to watch on repeat. You get one musical group you've got to listen to. You get one stadium food, one beverage, and one person. Are you ready? Let's go to the top while you're thinking about it right now. Number one, what movie is it?
Midnight in Paris.
Oh, wow. Good answer.
Midnight in Paris.
Number two, what musical group?
You
got to listen to them. You're not writing for them. You get to sit back, chill, and listen.
Oh, no. I think it would be as much as I think that the Beatles transformed our culture.
Right.
I think it'd have to be the Eagles.
Another group. I mean, you think about the Eagles, though, they and the Beatles, they both did what you just talked about before. They had a lot of time, and they had to persevere through a lot of stuff to be able to rise.
Yeah.
So, wow, the Eagles are awesome. I know they're coming to Nashville soon, so people are excited. One stadium food.
Stadium food? Oh, you kidding me? Hot dog.
I love it.
I mean, come on.
All right, one beverage to go with the hot dog. What is it?
Sparkling water.
There you go. Now, that's not easy to get at a lot to. So.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
I hope they've got your Pellegrino ready for you.
I want a cool one, baby. I want a tall, cool one.
All right, you get one person. Who's going to be the person with you?
Oh, it's my wife.
Beautiful answer. And I'm going to give you a bonus. You get one Grizzlies player from history or today. Now, you can't take Bain because I went to TCU, and I love Desmond Bain. So you have to pick someone other than Bain, but if you get to pick one Grizzlies player, who is it?
Pau Gasol.
There you go. Great answer. Great answer. Well, I got to say, I mean, like, you think about that. We need him back. That's what we need.
He looks like he can still play.
Yeah, he does. I mean, I think that's one of the pieces of it. And I think, we talked earlier about the energy that Morant and some of these other people have brought to it. Do you like it? Do you feel the energy is going to help pave what you were talking about before of how Oklahoma City won? The Grizzlies starting to get some of that new energy, and maybe with the draft we're going to find out?
Well, yeah, it's not there now. It's not there now. In fact, I actually give their coach a lot of credit for the last, 15, 20 games when, there were no starters out there. Everybody that was wound up starting there might have been one. Coward, I think, was a starter at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
He actually made it through the whole year. All the other guys were all sitting on the bench. Pippen, all of them.
Yeah.
And so that coach, man, he got those guys to compete.
Right.
Every game. I never felt like the Grizzlies ever laid down. They just didn't have the bodies to actually compete. So is that energy going to be there? It's not there now for me. It's the energy of competing but having the energy that kind of fills the stadium with excitement, with
that
players.
vibe we talked about, with the vibe.
Yeah, they got to build that. And then that comes from winning, and that comes from personnel.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, man, one trade that was made this year that I absolutely loved, maybe it was last year, is when the Spurs got Fox to come in and play point guard. Now, that's the element. That Wembayamba, he wasn't doing it by himself.
Right. Nope.
Now, in fact, it's a perfect example of how dominant and how great you can be, but it still ain't all about you.
Michael Jordan remembers that.
Absolutely.
Just look at his team. He didn't win all those titles by himself. He was an instigator. He was obviously the greatest ever, but it's a team sport.
It is. And when they brought in Fox, when I saw that, I said, oh, my God, there it is. And they're going to be a team to deal with for a long, long time. And then it was the same thing with SGA with Oklahoma. Right now, he's without a doubt the best point guard in the league, probably one of the best players in the league.
Right.
And he's so young, and he is hungry. That kid, you can see it in him. He's not taking. He's like Jordan, who never gave any quarter.
No,
never.
He shows up, he plays well. And if you think about that, Brent, and all the games you've attended in Grizzly Land, down in Memphis, specifically probably Memphis, what game throughout your time of being a Fandom do you still remember?
It was
gave
that
you the
Laker
biggest
game.
thrill? That Laker? Oh, yeah. 'Cause
Oh,
you
yeah.
got to meet.
I'll tell you
got
why.
who won that game? Who won?
I think the Grizzlies won.
They won it too.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I
that's
tell you
game
what.
over. That's a perfect day.
Oh, the other small forward he has was Fox. Remember Fox?
Yes, I remember Fox.
I mean, Fox is probably the most handsome NBA player at that time on the planet.
okay.
And so the Grizzlies were ahead, but it was a nip and tuck game, right?
Yep.
And so we had really good seats, through Gary, the guy, the family owns a Peabody, and
Oh yeah.
we had like
I'm sure.
we had
Near the floor, if not the floor.
one game we got the commissioner seats because the commissioner there's in every stadium there are 2 seats dead center about maybe 4 rows up, and that's designated for the commissioner and somebody.
And you got the
right?
commissioner seats.
For one game we did. Now, not this game.
Yeah.
This game was actually even a better seat. We were like maybe just 2 or 3 rows up. And when Fox was inbounding the ball,
Oh, yeah.
right? And, I mean, God, we weren't like 10 feet apart.
Gosh.
And I start singing, Foxy Lady.
Oh my gosh. I
That's
love it.
That's the loudest I can sing. And he actually turned
around.
around and looked at me.
I wonder if he still remembers that
Oh
moment.
my God, man! I was singing "Foxy Lady" to him, and
That's so
Brian
good.
was really embarrassed.
Of course.
He said, "Dad, shut up!" And I just kept going, "Foxy Lady."
I love it.
Oh my God.
Well, because you have a voice, you could do it. Well, think about that. If you were, you obviously your sons could be. I know my own son. I would love to take him to all these games.
Yeah.
If you could take one artist with you to watch a Grizzlies game, what artist would you take to be heckling the fan? Not the fans, but be heckling the
You
other
mean that
team?
would actually heckle along with me?
Yeah. What artist would you take with you that you've definitely performed or engineered or wrote for? Who would you take? Who's going to join you
Well,
courtside to get
tell you
in
what,
the head? You got to
I'll
get
tell
in the
you
head
what.
of these
no,
guys.
No. I'm going here. He's passed away. Dave Loggins.
Dave Loggins. Okay.
Dave Loggins. Please come to Boston.
Yes.
And I did 2 records with him, 2 albums. He was a wonderful basketball player.
Oh wow.
Wonderful. And very competitive, and carried a good size, amount of I'm here to win type attitude.
He was ready. He'll be ready to help you.
Oh my God.
I love it. I love it.
We would be a fearsome twosome. We'd probably get thrown out of the place.
I love it. Well,
know.
listen, when we come back after this break, we're going to hear one more thing about Brent that you all haven't heard yet about his very first home run in his life and who it was on. All right, leave a review, share this episode with your favorite fan, and we'll be right back after this quick timeout.
Started as a kid with a team to believe in. Every win and loss left my heart still beating.
All right, we're back with a country music legend and diehard Memphis Grizzlies fan, Brent Maher. Brent, right before the break, we were
Yeah.
talking about one of your friends
Yeah.
who is an amazing athlete. Well, guess what? You are too. And you used to be a baseball player. So I want to hear, just like everyone wants to hear, who was your very first home run on? Who did you hit the home run on?
Oh my God. This is one of my crowning moments, I have to say. Forget about awards and crap like this. This was a moment.
This is what you'll never forget.
This is a moment. So I'm the chief engineer at United Recording in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yes.
I was out there like 6 years, and where I engineered a lot of records like Proud Mary and Age of Aquarius. I did all the vocals on that record and a lot of stuff, right? And anyway, Kenny Rogers was headlining there and still was playing with the first edition.
You guys all know who Kenny Rogers is, and if you don't, you got to know when to hold them.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, Kenny did this big charity softball game every year,
Yep.
raising money for Indian reservation outside of town. And he would get all of the stars that he would get his hands on.
Yep.
And then industry people would be the bad guy team, right?
Yep.
And so me being in the industry, the music industry, I was, on that team. Well, at that time, now his team, check this
Right.
out. His team would be the Fifth Dimension,
Okay.
all 5 of them.
Yep. Well, that's it. Yep.
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
The
Okay.
Bill Cosby was playing second base.
Wow. What a team.
Red Fox was the plate umpire. If you can imagine that.
Yes.
I mean, he had about 12 people on the team, and he had them all out there all the time.
Yes.
So if so anyway, and our team was, just people in the business and executive and things like that. So anyway, at that time, I was coaching baseball, Little League baseball.
Yep.
And so my eye-hand coordination was up to speed because I'm playing, hitting flies to the kids, hitting grounders to the kids, picking where I'm going to hit the ball. You know, I'm doing that 3-4 times a week.
Right.
So I'm pretty much up to speed. So I'm going to be the pitcher for our team. Kenny's the pitcher for his team, right? And so it's my turn at bat.
Yep.
And Kenny was an unbelievable athlete. I mean, he was, before his back injury started coming after him, he was a really...
To be good in the music industry, do you have to be a good athlete too?
It does help. It helps. It helps. So anyway, this is slow pitch, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he winds up and sends me an underhanded fast pitch that is a blur.
Oh, wow.
And so I just watch it fly by me.
You're like, whoa, bro.
And he said, hey, just kidding. And I said to him, hey, try it again.
Dude.
And so he said, well, all right. Now, in the audience is a lot of people. I mean, well over 1,000 people.
Oh, I'm sure.
My entire team, my wife, my 2 children. I mean, okay?
Yep.
And so he says, well, all right. So he winds up, sails one past me, and I get a hold of it, foul ball, but I got around on it, right?
Yep, you got
And
around.
he says, hey, not bad. I went,
It's
said,
2
all right,
strikes.
okay.
You're down in the count. It's 2 strikes right now.
Well, he said, now we're getting back. So the next one is an underhanded regular pitch, slow pitch, right?
Yep.
Now, I, in my entire life, have never, ever hit a home run. Even when I was 10, 12, 13 years old.
Neither have I.
Never hit a home run. This comes in. I didn't think I swung too hard. I just met the ball.
Boom.
I didn't even feel it hit the bat. No tingling of the hands, no nothing. And I'm running down the first baseline. I finally, slide the ball. I said, well, damn.
It's
Look
going.
at this thing.
It's going.
Can you dig
It's going.
it? I round first base sort of, and it's like over
So
and
good.
gone, and the place goes crazy. Now, that was the first home run of that day.
Oh, wow.
By the time the game was over, there were probably 15 because it was a
doesn't
little
matter.
league. It was a little league baseball park.
But Britt, you got the first one, and you know what you did? You made Kenny Rogers fold him. And I think that's the play on words
good.
right there.
Hey, fold him, baby.
He had to fold him. Well, that is awesome. All right, well, it's now time for the buzzer beater rapid fire. I'm going to ask you some questions. Just answer what comes straight to your heart or your mouth. Number one NBA player, past or present, you'd want courtside seats with.
Jerry West.
Very cool. Football team you cheer on the loudest.
With Titans.
Oh, there you go. Go local. Golf course that feels like your home field.
The little course.
Great
down here.
answer. The little course
Yeah,
down there
the little
near
course,
Franklin is
par
adorable.
Par 3, you walk it, no carts.
It's beautiful.
Takes an hour and a half to play. Done.
God, it's one of my favorites. That's where my son plays all the time.
Yeah.
All right. One song you've worked on that feels like a championship anthem.
A championship anthem?
Yeah, you've written so many songs. Which one could go into sports?
A song that has never been, is not a hit.
Mm-hmm. All right.
and it's a real rock and roll thing. And it's called She's Like Mercury. And it's a real kind of a Rolling Stones. She's like Mercury. And I would love that to go out and find its way to the women's NBA team, which is called Mercury.
Yes.
But that
Well, I
would
hope
be
they
the
hear
thing.
this.
Anybody can check that. Mark Selby, Selby, She's Like Mercury. You'll get it.
All right. The most valuable piece of memorabilia you own, sports or music?
Well, that's an easy one. Myself and Paul Carey wrote a #1 record for the Judds called Let Me Tell You About Love. We wrote that with Carl Perkins, the legendary blue suede shoes Carl Perkins.
Yep.
Carl was so appreciative and was so humble about it. And it was just, no, Carl, we are
We're
the ones
thrilled to be with you.
that, to be in your presence, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, we were down in Jackson writing at his house. And we got through writing a song, and everybody was packing up.
Yeah.
And Carl is out stuffing some items in my car. And I'm looking at it, what are you sticking in my car? So we go out to the car, and there was a little tweed amp in there. And he says to Paul Kennerly, he said, so Paul, this is for you. This is an amp that I played, recorded at Sun Records. And I don't know if I played it on Blue Suede, but it's an amp that I want you to have. Well, Paul was just like taken back. Well, the other was this old gig mic. It's like maybe a 639 or something like that. Electric voice. You see them, kids use them all the time, the old-timey looking mic, right?
Yeah.
Mic stand, a cord hanging off of it, and the plug is cracked and has black tape around it, you know? And he said, Brent, he said, this never was much of a microphone, but it's the microphone, the very first microphone I ever sang, one for the money, two for the show.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
Well, I freaked out. I said, get it out of my car.
Oh, my gosh. You gave me chills, Brent. You gave me chills.
No, I said, get it out. I can't take that. That's your family. He says, I've already talked about it with Valda, his wife. I've talked about it with the boys, his two sons. And he said, we want you to have this microphone.
Wow, Brent.
Well, so I brought it home and scared to death about what to do with it, you know.
Yeah.
Well, some of my friends in Memphis, when they started the Rock and Soul Museum, which is, anybody listen to this, if you haven't seen the Rock and Soul Museum in Memphis, Tennessee, try to get there.
Okay.
It's unbelievable. So anyway, Carl does have a corner there, of course, right?
Yep.
And when I saw that corner with, you know, a jacket he wore, a guitar that he played, and some other stuff,
Yes.
that became clear to me. This is where the microphone needs to be.
That's great.
And so I told the curator, who was giving me, and my wife, Janelle, the cook's tour of the place, I said, I have something you might like. And so if you go there and you look at the Carl Perkins thing, you'll see that old microphone.
That's there.
And then they put up a plaque that says, this is on loan from Brent, Janelle, Brian, and Diana Maher.
Beautiful.
And then below that is the letter that Carl sent me to authenticate it.
Yeah.
And he said, Brent, to my dear friend Brent, this never was much of a mic, but it is the first mic I ever uttered the words, you know, Blue Suede Shoes into. And then he puts down the serial number of the microphone.
That is like awesome.
And so they have a copy of that letter.
So cool.
And that's next to the plaque.
Oh, my gosh.
And that is without a doubt of anything related to the business that I've been blessed to have any kind of ownership with. That's the one.
Oh, my gosh. So I don't know where to go from here. But, you know, the only thing I can say is thinking about this is next question. One rule every true sports fan must live by. One rule every true sports fan must live by.
Never give up hope.
And as a Grizzlies fan, it goes pretty well. It goes pretty well for you, Brett. All right. Next question up for you is something you're doing really special right now in the world. Tell us about Night of the Orphan Train, a musical novel, audio book of the year already, and one of the Saley Award winners.
Yeah, well, it's actually a finalist.
Okay.
And we'll know.
Well, it should win. I hope it does win.
What it is, my wife and I were driving home from Colorado about almost 5 years ago now, and we saw a road sign that said, exit here to Concordia, Kansas, visit the Orphan Train Museum. And a wafy little child, you know, very period looking, like the early 1900s. And I went like, good God, what's an orphan train museum? So my wife, you know, had a computer out and she Googled it up. And what we found out about a 60-year period of our time that hardly anybody knows about. And we studied that off and on for the next day and a half. And what it was from the mid-1800s until the early 1900s, or 1920s, in New York City, it was basically like a third world country. There were tens of thousands of homeless children living on the streets all the time.
Wow.
Living and unfortunately dying on the streets. That was caused by the Spanish flu, different variations of the flu, World War I, all sorts of things. And the city, it was like if you go to some countries, like I went to, like in South America, something like I went to Rio.
Yes.
You stop at a stoplight, little kids rush to the car, try to sell you half a stick of gum. You know, that's what the city was like.
Yes.
And so there was a Methodist minister driving him crazy, going to his, you know, to his church every day.
Yeah.
And I'll try to make this as short as possible. But after praying God knows for how many years, he came up with this idea that all of these immigrants that are coming into the country now, they're not just satisfied staying here in the city.
Right.
They're moving west. People are giving land away. People are giving
Yeah,
grub
go west
stakes.
to gold.
Yeah, go. And so he said, how could we marry the two?
Yeah.
Surely some of these families could use an extra kid. And so he started this society called the Children's Aid Society, and they connected with our train system, which was pretty well developed.
Yes, very well.
And they would load up off the streets, and it was pretty, not with a lot of ceremony.
Yep.
Pick them up off the streets, put them in basically paddy wagons almost, take them to the train station, put them in train cars, and then one train car would be going, let's just say, to Topeka, Kansas.
So they
They would
wow,
call, they
fascinating.
would contact a church there or subgroup and say, there is a boxcar of 50 kids that need to be adopted. Here's a bunch of posters. Put them in barbershops, put them in grocery stores saying, come here July 9th, 9 a.m.,
Yes.
pick out your kid.
Wow.
But before then, you'd have to go to that church or whatever and get you vetted, so to speak. And that was real hit and miss, right? So here's what's going to kill you. In that 55-year period of time, almost 60, they took off the streets of New York City 250,000 children and put them into every state of the union. Now, that had such an effect on me.
I can only imagine the family legacy of these 250 children that are now all over the country. I mean, that's
there's websites you can connect to, and they
Wow.
were called Orphan Train Riders, RIDERS,
Wow.
Riders. So anyway, by the time we got to St. Louis, I had started a song
Okay.
simply called Orphan Train,
All right.
you know? And in that song, I kind of gave birth to 3 children. And Jacob, Caroline, and Billy. And in that song, they're 11 years old, and Caroline's a young 11-year-old girl that's wise beyond her years, little blonde girl, and Jacob's a white kid about that same age, and Billy's a little black kid. All of them, of course, have officer parents,
Right.
and are living on the streets. And they 3 of them find each other and get this little family unit going, and then all sorts of things happen, and you follow their lives when you meet them
Yes.
at 11 until they're like 22. And of course, World War I is sort of right in the middle of it.
Yep.
And so it's an audiobook. I wrote it as a musical
Yes.
to where you have dialogue, and then all of a sudden a song appears that either Caroline sings or somebody sings.
Right.
And there's Act 1, Act 2, and it's an audiobook, and we just found out it's nominated as a finalist for Audiobook of the Year at the Saley Awards.
Congratulations.
And then what we just found out 3 days ago is in the month of May for Apple, there's going to be 5 books featured in the world of fiction that will be for the entire month trending up and coming or something like that, spotlighted. And Night of the Orphan Train is one of those 5 books.
Who's the author? Who's the audio voice?
Me.
Oh, you did the voice.
No. I don't do the voice.
Oh, right.
I had a narrator come in and do that.
A narrator, okay.
But I wrote the whole story. I wrote all the dialogue and wrote the songs.
Fascinating.
So it's something, and you guys can check it out. It's available.
Oh, yeah, we will.
It's on Audible, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, any place, Spotify.
Yes.
And it's called Night of the Orphan Train, and I'm just, it's as if not more gratifying to me, pretty much as anything I've done.
Oh, congratulations.
Other than hitting that home run.
I knew
off
you were
Eddie.
going to say that. I mean, how could you not?
Other than.
Well, I hope all y'all listening can get out there and definitely listen to this audiobook right after you listen to our podcast. But one last question before we go.
Okay.
I want you to go back to when you're 18 years of age, just a teenager, young and crazy. Give yourself one piece of advice. What are you giving yourself? What are you going to say to that 18-year-old?
Learn to be humble.
Priceless. Brent, what makes the conversation special is that it reminds us of something powerful. No matter how many awards you win, no matter how many legends you work with, at the end of the day, we're all fans of something. a team, an artist, a friend. We all need something that brings us back to joy, to the community, and to feeling alive in the moment. Whether it's music or basketball, you've spent your life creating moments that people feel. And today, we got to feel yours. The passion, the connection, and showing up for what you love. Brent Maher, thank you for bringing both the legend and the fan today. This is the Superfan Diaries. I'm J.R. Green. See photos, shorts, and highlights at superfandiaries.com. Follow, leave a review, and nominate your favorite Superfan. And remember, if you make one person smile today, you've had a great day. Make them laugh, even better. Thank you all, and goodbye.
We are one.